Hi, and welcome to my Backstage area, Backstage with G, where you get my perspective on all things human design, business, and living life as a correct, successful projector. I'm so excited that you're here. This is a space where I share audios and videos about my 6-line experience, how to become a successful projector, running my business in integrity with my energy, and paving the path into the new cycle to become a successful entrepreneur with visionary leaders like you. You will hear and see me model a way that not many are modeling in this industry yet. The truth is, I do not teach success. I am success. I'm different. I teach differentiation. I'm the design of sales and confidence. My signature is success. My personality is to model the truth of what it takes to do it your way, depending on what my ego wants and my spleen authorizes as healthy and thriving for me. I'm confident because I'm comfortable with who I am and stop trying to be someone I thought I had to be successful. In this space, I share my perspective of what is possible for you if you understand yourself so well in design and how these parts can unlock untouched potential and profit in your business. You're invited to hear me talk about the kind of high-level leadership topics and conversations I have with my mentors and highest-level clients. If you identify yourself as a successful person driven by more success, this place will feel like finally getting the permission to be fully yourself in your too muchness and big vision, just by hearing me talking about success the way you always wanted it to feel but never thought possible in a way that worked for your design. Let this activate and expand you into feeling capable of attempting to meet your highest potential now, because in my world we don't wait or work hard to become successful. I remind you that you are it already and then guide you to be it. Let's dive in. Today I want to talk about 3 main qualities that I really deepened within myself and my design as a coach, mentor, entrepreneur, and projector, successful projector, becoming a correct, successful projector, and what that means. And this weekend, I took a step away from social media and more into different spaces and places of my business and my life. And I'm on a walk right now, and as I always do when the intuitive splenic hit comes and my channel of awareness this is on, my channel of abstraction gets really dominant. It's really interesting when we step away from other people's auras and take the focus and attention away from others and make more space in our life. I notice for myself that suddenly something lands. There must be more spaciousness for things to really integrate and settle into the body. And the more I am in my process, the more I understand that this just takes time. And so this week, it was mainly dominated by the theme of success and attention and how this correlates. And so this morning I was remodeling my entire living room. It looks amazing now. After yesterday, I looked at a new apartment, and I'm really already in the energy of moving, opening a new chapter. I do not work in man-made timelines. So whenever you believe that we still have 1 month left, yes, we have in a certain timeline and reality of the matrix, but then there's your own timeline based on your own energy, how it works, how the gates activate your chart, what drives you, when it's time for your next chapter of evolution and expansion. And I feel for me, it always happens every year at the end of November, after the eclipse season, a big new chapter starts. And then for me, the new year actually begins with winter solstice. And then it gets just a forward momentum. And so this week, success and attention was the topic. And I realized how much my success is based on what and who I give my attention to. And this weekend, I took a little bit away my attention from social media and became even more intentional with where my priorities and what needs my focus now with regard to where I'm heading, what I want to build, what my next level is, who I want to call in as new clients, which other business models I want to expand outside of the coaching industry, which platforms of influence I want to create with a podcast and a different YouTube format. And I put more attention and focus on my email list, and really I want deeper connection. And so with all this, that came so clearly for me, and this is this channel of abstraction. It is not, it's not logic, it's abstraction, and that means clarity comes after time. It is creating wisdom and gaining clarity from the past. And now with the shifts of the nodes, it is so clear what needs to go, what needs to be released and cleaned up, and where do I need to take my attention away from and focus on, so that I can thrive and make that next leap into the evolution myself. And with that, all who are on my fractal, all my clients, the people who are in my closer circle will be impacted by it. So it's less about how can I serve my clients more. It's really about where do I need to be more disciplined and radical and serious about my own work within myself. Because to be honest, it is really a commitment. Human design is nothing to dabble around, especially when I look into what's coming and feel sometimes the energy already shifting, what will be the energy and the state of mind and in the program after 2027. My commitment and my goal and my aim is to become a correct projector, and that is even more important than monetary success, because it is the first thing that needs to happen to become correct, and that means living my type correctly and not getting absorbed by such a dark programmed coaching industry built on the principles of the cross of planning. And I know there are a lot of people who seem to be very successful, and for me it looks as if it is like a bubble that will eventually burst and everything crumble and collapses, and the fractures I can already see, because it is like a dark hole spinning faster and faster around those people. Because when you really go deeper and look into what is it actually that they're selling and that their vision is, what drives them really, what is the deeper intention behind the words and the marketing, what do I feel, what does my touch cognition feel, do I want to touch these, do I want to get in touch with these people, is it healthy for me to be in the energy of this person? What does my 6-line rooftop penthouse perspective see what the truth is? And I see just very surface layer things that condition other people to believe a certain way of business or a certain way of marketing. Social media is the thing. And so there's no differentiation. And when there's no differentiation, it's still the program. Even if they talk about alignment, if someone says alignment and uses human design, I know they're not source-based, because Ra never talked about alignment. So these are things that happen the more mutation on a cellular level happens that the words change. So with this week, I really noticed that looking back to this entire summer, 3 qualities that I noticed within myself and with the clients that have the most success, and success is all individual definition, has nothing to do with money only. It is about successful living your type and knowing strategy and authority, and by this building something sustainable that goes beyond 2027. We are all ahead of time. So these 3 qualities that I notice is like, what makes the difference, or what do I know to be true about myself and about this entire journey of entrepreneurship and human design, which stands out and which I see among very successful people, and my clients included, my peers, my mentors as well. And this is all about knowing who you are, number 1. Number 2, knowing why you're here, what you're good at, what you're here to contribute. And then the third thing is how you expand and how you evolve and how you grow and transform. And you might have heard this already, like knowing who you are and why you're here. Yeah, this is the question that I kept asking like my entire life, especially in those phases of a second phase of my design where I really felt so lost in my life and on my life path. And I noticed that there's the difference between that beginning time where it was and now is that I know and I gain deeper understanding about who I am. And this is a key factor now finding human design. I have a good solid understanding about who I am, and even shifting the perspective of I don't have to figure it out. I know it already, and it gets to be a refinement of stop being not myself and stop falling into the patterns of the not self. So it's not anymore a question. Successful at a certain point of success, I do not ask myself anymore about who am I and is this wrong about me. It's no, this is me. This is fucking me. And which parts about myself haven't I fully understood yet to use in my business? Because it always comes back. It's kind of a default. You default always back to this feeling of there's a better way. Or when bitterness and resistance comes up why things are not working, then I do not question myself. That's the power of my will, my defined ego, that I have a big portion of self-esteem and rather question anything else. The program I signed up for, or even the mentor that I was working with and give me advice based on their experience and who had no idea about my design. I never so much questioned myself to the point where I started questioning myself because I was so exhausted. But the exhaustion came because I wasn't living myself. So the first thing is really successful people, myself, my mentors, my clients, we all ask ourselves, okay, I kind of have a good sense of myself. How can I get better at becoming me? Which parts, and this is so clear now for me that this gets to shift even in the work that you're doing. Shifting from what do I don't know? You know everything. You don't need any course and program. At this point, I don't need it. I know how to make money. It's not about the money. It's really about doing it in a way that comes so naturally to me, and shifting this whole focus away from money and just going more into the contribution and the design and the vision, which is the second piece of it. So when I understand parts of myself more deeply and become comfortable that this is the correct way of doing it, then the work gets to be around holding that and doing it over and over again until the things work in the business, and knowing and understanding how to bring that in the business. So for me, it was because I know what I want. I know what my next level is, even if it's not fully clear, but I totally gain clarity anytime I create something, anytime I have a conversation with someone, anytime I work with my clients. I know and I see the next step for myself through working with them, because this desire motivation, that's already part of the third thing, the expansion, is what drives me. I know, and my clients also come to me. I know what I want. I know where I want to be. I have so much clarity about my next client, who I want to work with and who I'm excited, and the offers I want to create. This desire for growth, and the desire to bring that part of ourselves into reality, into building that vision. And by us doing it, we have a way more there's way more possibility to really create success with way less effort. So number one is understanding who you are, meaning the work that I did this year is I deepened my understanding about the parts of my design, and I keep doing it. So these whole three things are a continuation over and over again. And so that when I look at my clients who are already successful, but they're kind of hitting those pieces of discomfort and frustration and bitterness and exhaustion, then I very quickly can see both sides. This is my biggest gift. Now I understand this part of myself, that how I support myself with having a design education and a design mentorship and multiple mentors in design, and then also a business and leadership mentor. And for me, it is so clear that through these both pieces, I bridge the gap for many of my clients. And I can be, and I am, that one mentor that brings both things into their business. And this is the key to unlock so many things. It is the deeper understanding. It is the deeper understanding of who they are and about the pieces that they don't know in design, living that comfortable. And then, this is the second quality, being able to make these little refinements and shifts. This is really just so subtle in the business, and suddenly these things click. And it is as if they were, and I feel it myself. I can so resonate with each of my clients because I have been there myself, that it feels so hard and swimming against the stream. And we are all powerful people and visionaries and so driven and dedicated to doing this work that we have a lot of power to swim against the stream. But then at some point we get either exhausted or things happen that suddenly the storm comes up and the circumstances get more shaky, and it just gets harder to swim and continue doing what we were doing. And then usually there's either physically our body, our design says nope, it's not healthy and it takes us out, or the business goes downstream, downhill, because we're just fighting and going the wrong path, and that's not the path of least resistance, the path of fucking hardest. And we're all fighters, but let's work smarter. And design is a system which gives us the incredible possibility to understand that and to do that. And it is the only, in my opinion, you can think what you want, but for me, it's the only way of truly living who we are. And of course, it's an experiment. I mean, there are also other things that I do beside design, but until now, nothing, to be honest, nothing never worked once I did it in design. The thing is that, and now I'll come to the second part, when we then change things in our business and understand, hey, number two, why am I here? Then suddenly the vision gets fucking bigger. So I realized that I was just dabbling around before I truly understand that the things I always thought are wrong about me, or maybe not wrong, but I cannot bring that or bring those pieces into my business. And now when I see, I understand this correctly, so all my other mentors who have no idea about design have always talked me out of this. Now I'm doing it. Now I'm slowing down. Now I'm more intentional, and everything that I do is more potent, more powerful. So the more I live my design, the more potent and powerful I am, and the more potent and powerful I show up, and the more potent and powerful clients come in. And then it's not about chasing the next launch or giving my attention too much to people who are not there yet, but will at some point if I keep my potency and my power. Actually, the more I am in my power, the stronger mutation happens. And then those people who maybe cannot join the bigger places yet, they mutate and become empowered faster. So it's all really to understand that our purpose, what we're designed to do, is to be differentiated, to focus on ourselves, and to focus truly becoming correct in living our design. And everything else, whether you run multiple companies, or you're a solopreneur, or you're a healer, or now as I'm going back into corporate and there's more about leadership, it is the same, because it has nothing to do about the environment and where you are and what you do and kind of how that's going to be expressed and manifests or materializes in the world. It's really the correctness that unlocks the power. And so then the second piece is, what are we here to do? So number one was understanding that successful people, and I understand it myself, everyone who is that type of person and who will be successful after 2027 knows and practices these three things, these three qualities over and over and over again. And the second thing is really important to understand, that when we are, I'm so dedicated to live my design. It is a dedication to lead by it, and it's a dedication to live it. And it is radical. It's not rapid, it is radical. And that means you gotta have, it has consequences. It has consequences. And this year really clearly showed me that I cannot continue this way. I cannot hold more. I cannot really step into the bigness of my vision if I do not make changes. And changes can only come if you choose them. Yesterday I posted something on my stories that I said, if you're not changing it, you keep choosing it. And you got to choose it as long as it takes. But even there, it's intentional. We always know better. And so the question is, why don't we do better? And this doing better is usually tied to the third part, is how we expand. So the changing of what we do comes with the changing of the more we understand of who we are. So then the vision gets bigger. And so for myself, I always had a big vision, and now I understand that, now the vision gets bigger, not by, this summer really got clear that I want to speak more, that I want to get on stages more, that I want to have a small circle of really, really potent leaders who are willing to be led. My attention as a projector's attention and focus is the highest asset. So I only work with clients who are seeking that attention, not just being in my energy. This leadership circle, this leaders extraordinary is really the people who are all in being willing to hear what I see. And that is not comfortable because the not self is so strong in thinking that we are not safe in it and we get judged, and it's our own self-judgment. So the second thing is that how comfortable are we with the discomfort of really executing and changing with regards to why we're here and what we're meant to do. And so usually what I notice with myself is I cannot continue my business doing it that way. And so now this whole year was about creating such a foundation, and it from the outside and even inside it felt everything crumbles, everything falls apart, yet all the things fell apart that would they would crumble, they would fall away latest over the next years, and very, very latest from 2027 on. But I'm ahead of time, and I follow my intuition so clearly that I trust. I cannot continue this. My vision is much bigger. My body shows me I cannot continue this. I understand this part about myself more. Now, how can I create something in my business that is so sustainable? And over the summer, the quantum business model evolved, and I'm now slowly implementing it within myself and bringing that into the spaces that I created. Premium is one of these, the 6-month mentorship where foundational pillars of the business are created in such a differentiated way, like I did it, and I'm continue doing it, and I do it with the most incredible people who are in there. And it doesn't matter. They're from all different branches. They're in corporate, they're coaches, they're serial entrepreneurs, and it is really important to understand that this is now the time. And a lot of coaches, even if they're still doing and still successful, if they're really sitting their ass down and asking themselves, is this sustainable? Is this scalable? Can I continue this? Is this really what I want? And if they were understanding, number one, if they had the quality, to be honest, if they had the quality of really seeking to understand themselves deeper, and with this also knowing, this is what successful people have, the knowing that they cannot see their blind spots. So anyone who thinks, I just continue this way, I'm good, it is ego, and ego crumbles. Anything that is not from highest definition and pure integrity with their design will crumble. So there are some coaches out there who building their businesses, and not only coaches, but also entrepreneurs as a house of cards, because it depends so much on external circumstances that will fall away, and how they actually know that it is crumbling because they see numbers going down. They see that there's a shift in the audience, a shift in the energy of people. People are asking for more depth and not the quick fix, the next change, but mostly they don't want to deliver the quick fix, the next thing, or just answer stupid questions. And so because they stop doing this, and there's a resistance that is felt in the audience, and so it feels harder to sign up people, and it doesn't sell anymore that much. People are not that easy manipulated. Like, people are waking up. And so the quality is necessary for me to it is really this, what I noticed, the quality number one. I want to get to know myself more, and I'm very dedicated to do that, because I know if I uncover more of my potential and more of my power, like this, the areas in my design, and when I understand specifics about my design more, that unlock untouched potential and untouched power, this is profit. The more comfortable I am living that, the more profitable I am. And so I know that these untouched potentials are the pieces I need to bring into my business. These are different kind of offers. These are higher level spaces for higher level leaders. These are different conversations. This is my approach for myself. You get to understand, figure that out for yourself. But I feel home when I have these conversations that I have with other entrepreneurs, with other leaders, other coaches, and I'm not going down anymore. I'm just talking at that level, and everyone else can rise up to it or is already there and joins me. So there is no judgment. This is not better than anyone else. It's just my way, how I'm designed and what I choose for myself. And from here, it's only up and up and up. I give you an insight in my mind, how I see my life and my vision and my expectations, to set them higher. I don't want to sacrifice anything anymore. The more I understand how special everybody is, I see that among with so many people, that they feel this inside, but they hit always this resistance, and then there's this defaulting back to old patterns of doing business and trying so hard to kind of make old shit work. It doesn't work anymore, and this burns them out, instead of fully stepping into this more potential and trusting themselves, feeling comfortable and knowing that this is the way how the business will work once they fully radically live it. So when it looks like it crumbles, it has to, because to be honest, the ones who are able to go through this now successfully, even if it takes time, even like this whole restructuring and rebuilding and rebranding takes a little bit time and is uncomfortable. Now it's better, because when everything else crumbles, we are the ones who can lead. We can tell the story. We have the experience. We have the knowledge and understanding what it takes to restructure, rebuild, bring it back to our authority, to our intuition, to how to unlock these hidden powers. And so this is the second piece, to really know why you're here and how to bring that into a sustainable business model. And for me this year was both. I have the understanding of design. I got into source material. I got invited to become one of the ones who are able to receive that knowledge on that level. And then I have my gifts of how to strategize that in the business. And I'm here to help other people who have this big vision to do that the same, but only for the ones who are willing to open up and be expanded and be guided. That is so clear. So this third piece that I'm now coming to as the quality of highly successful people, and what makes me a truly successful projector, is because I don't have anything to prove anymore. The way how I move, the way how I expand is not perfect. Absolutely not. And that's not what it's about. I make mistakes. That's not what it's about. I fall and I stand up, and that's what it's about. It's how do we expand, how do we evolve, and how do we lead and are willing to be led by someone else along the process, because understanding the most successful people have the most support. They have the biggest teams of management, of support people, of energetic maintenance, of healers, of cooks, of cleaning ladies, mental support, emotional support. Everything gets to be stocked up. So when I see coaches out there trying to do it alone, then they actually go downhill. Then they try to muscle even more up and swim upstream, instead of being smarter and saying, okay, I just need refinement. I can do it myself. So understanding how you expand. This is a really interesting concept I dove deeper into this weekend, because it is about two things. It is about what drives you. What is your innate driver? Not external money shit that you see in this industry claiming to should be the driver. And it looks so different for everyone. And it is the motivation, the determination, the color in your design. So when you understand what truly drives you, then you can always bring it back to that piece. It is first, again, the vision that you have, but also how does it drive you in every day? What motivates you? What is the true motivation behind the success, behind the money? And what keeps you going when things are not working, because this really selects and will select. It isn't, you have to understand what we're heading into is a evolution in humanity. So when you look back or into the animal world, it's selection. The strongest and fittest and wealthiest will survive. So, and the ones who are the smartest to become that. And in the end, this era is about self-awareness and seeing what is real and what is not. And this is not what we can do alone. So the smartest, successful people who do it in a way that is effortless and with more freedom and more ease and most healthiest for them are the ones who will succeed. So how do you expand? I ask myself, how am I expanding? What drives me? I want to learn. I have desire, motivation, and this is something diving deeper into the motivation in the context of the business that really helped me to understand what I need to be successful long-term, over a long period of time. And that does not mean that there are not fluctuations in income. That doesn't mean that there are not phases of void, of unclarity, of burning all down. Like we call it mutation. It is necessary. But again, when you understand yourself, number one, you understand what's going on in these times. And then for me, really success mindset is that I know I want someone who I can talk to when it comes to this. So understanding your motivation, what drives me. And then the second part is what creates stability. This is what I notice within the people I work with, my clients, that whenever things are amazing, they can run it like first the motivation, what motivates you and what do you need to keep running looks different for everyone. Some clients are wanting guidance, support, answers all the time, consistently. Some want one deep dive session and then they run themselves and they're independent, but just knowing that they can tap into and get my focus and my attention when they need it, and they have the self-awareness because they have this third piece that they know they cannot see it themselves, so they tap in continuously and they are still in the room with me and are still at the table with me. So it is different for everyone, what motivates you, what you need to keep driving. But what the second piece is stability. So the success doesn't come from just confidence because we are seen and we are successful. It comes from certainty, and the certainty comes within. And the certainty is only there when there's stability. And the stability I found for myself comes through long-term ongoing background frequency of there is someone who walks next to me. And so this is what I notice with all my peers. When we evolve over time, we have such a deep understanding of ourselves that then there is a deep relationship that is so valuable. And then the shift, the pivoting, the refinement doesn't take long. You know, when I see people walking on their own and they once in a while tap into a session with someone, I mean, to get as a mentor, I don't like this because it only gets you that far. And I know it for myself that when I do sessions with people, to explain them where I'm coming from and where I am in my business, it takes a long time, right? As a projector, as a mentor, I do that once in a while because I'm now at a level of where I can laser sharp deep dive, and the people who come to me usually use these sessions just to gain clarity about what is not working, where they need to focus on, and then either they keep running with themselves and do it alone, which is fine, or which is 99% the time we continue in a format that gives them the stability. And this can be very loosely with just voice message support when they want to tap into, or this is more regularly depending on the way they are designed. Also the type, projectors is different than my manifestor clients. And then it can be weekly calls and voice support or whatever it is. But I noticed that for myself, I work best when how I choose my mentors to expand. I have a session, usually a deep dive, and then there is longer support afterwards, like a week walkthrough or so, that I get in touch, that I feel it. I know here's touch cognition is your cognition is really, really important to understand here how you best expand. So I have touch cognition, and it is important for me to feel people, to get in touch with them. And then I want to be long term. I always have been this way. I work best as a mentor and I work best as a mentee. So this is what I want for myself, how I noticed to expand. However, it got me a while, and I needed step 1 and step 2, or quality 1 and quality 2, to understand that I expand in the best environment when I have consistent access to people, so that when I want attention, when I want the conversation, then I can go and get it. It is not that I need it, and it's not required to have it all the time. Over this entire year with my mentor, we had phases where we were very, very close and phases where we were not so close. And it took also a very big commitment and dedication for both sides to grow and evolve together. However, the thing is that because you're together for such a long time, you can't just plug in and start talking. There is no explaining what's going on, catching up. It is, like I said, it is a stream that you don't swim upstream anymore, but you go downstream. And it is that when I am seen, when I get attention, I can just pivot and redirect when I'm off track, or even beforehand. It's not that I'm off track. It's just that I maybe slide a little bit in the wrong direction and I could fall off the wagon, and I'm not, because I know I have the stability. And this third piece, how we expand, is so dependent on how stable do we feel. What is the background frequency? So if you want to be high end, you get to be high end in all areas. In front of your business, in your brand, in your offers. And this is always a process of refinement, right? We get better and better the more we do it. But we also should be high end and premium behind the scenes. And when there's shaky energy, there's self-doubt, when you have no one really to talk to, or when you're stuck in this, got to do it alone because I have no one to talk to, that's not high end. And leadership, I noticed more and more, is the piece that people don't want to talk or learn about or are interested to expand into. Now I understand it, because not many are meant to lead. It's not only that it is uncomfortable, because there are not many leaders who really lead in an embodied, non-attachment, not judgmental way, but also the fact that from pure human design perspective, there are not many leaders out there. And a lot of people who say they're meant to lead are not even designed to do that. It is a fact. That's why it's not working. So I know I am. I see it in my design. I knew it always. And that comes with a big responsibility. And I know that this works for me because I have desire and motivation. Now, what is your motivation? It does not mean that if you don't have desire and motivation, you're not meant to lead. But what it is important to understand, your motivation is what keeps you going. And if you keep going, you're seen as a leader. And leadership is also I will record another audio about leadership in design. But the intention behind sharing this is that it really got me clear what it took me to get here this year, of pivoting in my business into fully integrity with design, with this full dedication commitment to do it this way. And it brought up a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a lot of doubt, a lot of willingness to dismantle everything, a deeper commitment to my vision and to doing this, and the most important thing, to learn to have more stability and more certainty within myself. And these three things really helped. And in the end, then it raised my capacity. My design, living my design raises my capacity to hold more. It is not the business structures, it's not a recurring income. It is not, this is the second piece that comes from that. When we have an energetic capacity, but when we waste our energy with living our not self, it won't work. You can have the best funnels and income stream and strategy set up, but it does not work when you don't know yourself well enough, and when you are building a structure that is not in design, then you cannot expand. So these three things, knowing yourself well enough, knowing why you're here and how to bring that into the world in the most in integrity with your design in the most powerful and potent way, so that this is success. Knowing your potential, knowing your untouched potential, having someone who helps you unlock it, and then having the stability long term to live it. Knowing is one thing, living is the second thing. And so for me now is clear, how do I want to move forward? What is 2023 looking? And this looks, I do the same things, 1, 2, and 3. I get to know myself more. I study design more. I teach design more because I bring that into my mentorship, but I teach it in a very practical desire, motivation, and tribal energy way by being very actionable. It is very actionable, very real, practical, strategic design. It's not just knowing, this is nothing intellectual. It is embodiment, it's an experience, it is conversational. And so I know, because I just booked another session with an astrologer, and I'm already thinking about getting astrology support for 1 year, the entire next year, because I know what's coming. So I double down more on the support and the mentors who are able to see me and guide me than thinking about anything else first. And not about money, not about goals, not about income goals. This is first priority, so that I can then have more capacity to hold higher caliber clients who want that for themselves. That's it. And in the end, it's just about my attention and what I see in them. This is all what my work is about, because that unlocks 1, 2, and 3.